Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be dry fitting the flow-rite premium kit. The key word there is dry fitting, and the reason we're dry fitting is because we're not fully ready for the installation part of this yet. We have been getting a lot of questions lately pertaining to this kit, and so I just wanted to get a lot of those questions cleared up, and a lot of them had to do with how do you integrate the chill box mod into this whole system. So that's something I want to show you. As I'm putting this thing together, just keep in mind this is dry fitting. I'm not putting any silicone around any of the fittings. I'll try to make sure to include where you need to put silicone at in this video. But once again, like I said, this is the flow-rite premium kit. So in this kit, we are getting the black hoses. We're also getting all these quick disconnects, which are pretty imperative to this system. And one of the reasons why we use this system is because it is found in all the higher end bass boats. Like, this system will not let the water drain when the boat's on plane. You have the option to recirculate or pump in new water from the lake. And also, not to mention that now all of our live wells are stamped in the bottom and have the fitting that accepts the flow-rite through hole fitting. So that's really nice. Now, if you've ever tried to DIY your own live well system, it's a pain in the butt. I did that the first time with this kit, and I think I had made like 4 or 5 videos over the live well just because I kept having to redo this and redo that and everything. So it's not easy and it's not fun to DIY your own live well system. Also, if you DIY your own kit, you're going to be looking at running at least 2 pumps. This one requires one 800 gallon per hour pump. TB Nation has another very good video out about this, which I will link down below. Make sure to check that one out as well. But let's go ahead and get started on this, get this in place, and we'll see how it turns out. First, I needed somewhere to mount my pump, so I drilled a 1/1/8 inch hole into a scrap sheet of 1/16 inch aluminum. The valve will tell you which port needs to be facing the transom and which port needs to be facing the live well. So make sure you have that valve facing the right way, and don't forget your Teflon tape. This hose has to run from the bottom of the live well back to this portion of this 3-way valve. So I think what I'm gonna do right now is trim off the excess threads right here. That way this 3-way valve is gonna sit closer to the pump and then this wall. And I'm just using this PVC cutter to cut this. We're gonna install one of these little clamps. So you stick that on, then your quick disconnect. I might have to do a little wiggle. So I'm not going to really clamp this in right now, just because I'm dry fitting all this, but you're gonna want it about right there, and then clamp that shut to keep that hose from coming off the quick disconnect. We're gonna line this up right where we need it to be, and then install. Gotta make sure that the red collar is pushed all the way in and it's not coming out. So the next thing we need to do is install this through hole fitting right here onto the transom. Make sure, once again, you're putting silicone on both sides of this through hole fitting. We have 2 of our quick disconnect fittings right here. So I'm just gonna fit this on so I can get an idea of how much hose I need. Don't forget your clamps. You're gonna need 1 for each end. All right, now we can set this all up. That's what we got so far. The through hole fitting going straight to the 3-way valve. And then from the 3-way valve, it runs to the bottom of the live well. So now we can work on the pump side of things. All you're doing with the chill box mod is running the hose through it in order to cool down the water inside the hose to get recirculated back into the live well. We're gonna put rubber grommets around these holes so the hosing doesn't get damaged whenever we do fully install this. The more of the hose that you can get inside of here, the more cold water you're gonna have going into your live well. Voila. So now all we have left is the overflow system right here. I do not have a step down bit large enough for this here through hole fitting, so I'm using a 1.5 inch hole saw. This is the 1 1/8 hosing. Bigger hosing and your larger fittings. Alright guys, we got all of our piping ran. Last thing we need to install is this 3-way switch, which is connected by this cable that goes all the way back to that 3-way valve back there that's connected to the pump. I'm planning on having my switch mounted right here. Alright, that's in. Flip this back around. This little black piece goes on the outside of this, like so. Undo this screw. Just like so. And that's it. Alright guys, so let me give you a quick rundown of how this is all going to work. The water is going to enter through the transom up into this 3-way valve. Then it's going to go into the pump. The pump is going to flow the water through the hose into the chill box mod. It's going to exit through here and up into the 2-way outlet, which is going to pump the water into the live well. Once the water is in the live well and it's recirculating, it's going to come out through this bottom hose, wrap around, and go back to this 3-way valve. And at that point, I have the option of recirculating it, putting in auto, or empty. But if I want the water to exit the live well, I'll just pull this out. The water is going to switch to come out this back hose, which is going to take it, expel the water on the side of the boat. The overflow is right here, which once the water gets up to that point, it's going to flow out and to the rear transom down there. One of the questions that we get is if this is the runoff and it's just connected at the bottom of the transom, won't that let water up into the live well? The answer is no. It's all about your water line. So the hose kind of angles up, and once it gets past the top of the water line outside of the boat, the water's not going to come above that point. I mean, it'll come into this hose to about maybe right here, and then it'll stop because the water line is going to be below that. That's part of the reason why I had to have my pump at the rear of the boat, is so that I made sure it was at its lowest point, so that when the boat is in the water, I know that water is coming up into this pump for it to do its job and push the water out. That's the whole system. We might be able to take off a little bit, a few inches maybe out of this hose, but aside from that, This thing's ready to go. This is not hard to do. This took me probably an hour just to dry fit everything. Make sure that once you fully install this kit that you put sealant, silicone around each one of the through-hole fittings. And you're gonna also need Teflon tape right here where the three-way valve connects to your pump. The only other thing we have to do with this kit is the Livewell timer, which we'll get into in the electrical part of this build. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe for future content because we have a whole lot of boat left to build. Thanks for watching.